Hey there folks, welcome back to the channel. Ever had something on your mind that's just been camping out there for way too long? Well, guess what? You're not alone. Welcome to r/offmychest. So picture this as your virtual chill zone, where we spill the tea, share the laughs, and nod along to those Me Too moments. We're taking a dive into the stories that make us who we are. No fancy stuff, just good vibes and a bit of a heart-to-heart. So grab a snack, get cozy, and join the ride. Before we start with the first story, please hit subscribe and ring the notification bell to stay updated with us. Today I saw the man that saved me when I was being assaulted. When I was 13 years old, I was behind a church next to the middle school I attended. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was a sunny day in the spring, right before school was out for the summer. I had a couple of friends I hung out with, and they persuaded me to skip class with them. As we were leaving the campus, security yelled at us to stop and everyone started running in different directions. I ended up behind the church, alone. As I was catching my breath, a man came around the corner. He was much bigger than I was at 13 years old. I was immediately scared and knew something bad was going to happen. He came up to me and said I was the snack he had been looking for. I tried to run, but he grabbed me and pinned me against the wall. I had no chance of escaping him. He was such a big guy. I'll spare you all the details. The assault happened for around 3 minutes. I was exhausted from trying to fight off this man and trying to scream while he was crushing my body with his. I don't remember if I passed out or if my brain has been trying to block out the trauma, but all I remember happening next is another man jumping on my attacker, just beating the shit out of him. I didn't see him coming. I was naked, crying, dirty, I didn't know what to do. The man who saved me ended up knocking out my attacker. He gave me a blanket and comforted me as best he could until police arrived. The next couple years of my life were just a blur of depression. The man was arrested, my family moved us away from the area, and we never told anyone besides my immediate family. It has been 8 years since this happened. Today I went to McDonald's near the neighborhood I grew up in and saw the man who saved me that day. I went through the drive-thru, and he handed me my food. As soon as I looked into his eyes, I recognized him but couldn't tell where I knew him from. He smiled at me and said, "You don't remember me, huh?" I laughed awkwardly and said, "Remind me." All he said was the name of that church, and every single memory that I had been trying so hard to forget came flooding back. I looked at him again and started sobbing. It was such an insane situation. I was sobbing in the McDonald's drive-thru. I was partly crying because of all the memories, but mostly because this man saved me and I didn't even remember him. He came out, we sat 6 feet apart, and we talked for almost an hour. Just about life. He told me that his fiancée is pregnant with their first baby and they're expecting a baby girl. He's doing well. I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I've thought about him through the years and I've always wondered where he was, how he was. Today I finally got my peace. Edit. I am overwhelmed with all the positive messages and comments I am getting. I didn't anticipate this response. To people leaving supportive comments, thank you all so much, you all are angels. To the people leaving nasty comments, please stop. I love him, I love him. Bless him. And bless you, dear. You sound so strong. There is so much strength in you. I love him too. I can't even imagine what could have happened if he didn't help me. Thank you. I'm glad you got your peace, especially after all you've been through. Best of wishes to you. This is an absolutely horrifying and emotional story. I am so glad you were able to find your peace. I'm so glad the two of you were able to speak again. I honestly never thought I'd see him again. Like I said, we moved out of the area when it happened and I hadn't been back till the pandemic started. I also never thought he would bring me the peace I've been searching for all these years. Thank you for your comment. I'm an adult male and I've never been raped, but this got me emotional and I felt your joy and I'm really happy for you. We sat 6 feet apart. Kind of amazing how our stories are now, in one form or another, marked by this current reality. It reads almost like fiction, but it's anything but. I'm so sorry, but so much more grateful that you were able to have this amazing experience. I'm just a stranger on the internet, but as a fellow survivor, if you need a place to reach out, I'll always be here. Thank you so much. Despite how much I've healed, things do get heavy sometimes, so I really appreciate it. Wow, I did not expect to cry. All I can say is that I hope seeing him brought you the peace you were missing. Aw, didn't expect my story would make people cry. It brought some much needed peace. Thank you. My father, my stepdad. So I am now a 28-year-old woman with a 2-year-old daughter that I love more than life itself. My father died yesterday. He had testicular cancer that upsized to his brain. It went rather quickly. When I was 10, my stepfather abused me physically, sexually. Any way you can imagine, my mother turned her head, and when I told her, slapped me and told me I was lying. My stepfather disappeared one night. This is small town Indiana, roughly a 2,000 population town. He went out to the bar and never came back. He was missing, and he was never found until about 5 years later. His remains were found in the local quarry. My dad told me yesterday that he did it. I asked him what happened to my stepdad, and he said there was no other way. I'm at peace with this, I think. Looking at my 2-year-old now and thinking of what my mother did is unimaginable. I just need to let this out and move on. He loved you immensely. Bless your dad. I hope you find peace and that he loved you so much. I hope your dad passed away knowing he was a hero and that he saved you and probably other people as well. Your dad is a hero. I appreciate all the support. I honestly didn't expect it. It was just something I needed to get off of myself and move on. Thank you all so much. My daughter and I are doing wonderfully. I keep meeting my birth mom, but she doesn't know it's me. She had me when she was 14, and I, 24M, was given up for adoption. My parents told me about her growing up. I still have the letter she wrote me that she asked if they could give it to me if they wanted. It's crazy reading it sometimes and knowing it was a literal child who wrote it saying she's sorry she couldn't be my mommy, but she hopes I'm happy. She was open to having contact, but we moved from my dad's job when I was 11, and that it seemed impossible to find her. But luckily I did. She's working at this small restaurant, and I keep going, but she doesn't know it's me. We talk sometimes, and she seems like a nice lady. Sometimes when she says something like, "Do you want a refill, honey?" or uses another term like that, I want to tell her. I don't know why it makes me nervous. We talk sometimes, and she seems really genuine. If it's not super busy, she's more open to talking about random stuff. I literally drive 2 hours to come eat at this place just to see her. And it's like she knows me already because I'm there once or 2 times a week for the past 3 months. So she always says hi with a big smile. But man, if only she knew. This made me tear up. Thank you for sharing. Tell her, please. I know it's difficult, but you say you want to. My mom gave up her first son through a closed adoption and searched for him for 30 years. It was heartbreaking when he finally found her and turned out to be not a great person. You've already met her, and you know that the two of you get along. I don't know either of you, but knowing what my mom went through, I doubt that a day goes by that she doesn't wonder where you are. Baby, why can't you tell her? This makes me tear up. Update: I keep meeting my birth mom, but she doesn't know it's me. Well, I didn't. I told her. And yeah, it was pretty heavy. My heart was even beating fast. I kept trying to think how to tell her. Many of the comments on my last post here mentioned writing her a letter, just how she wrote a letter for me. Originally, that was the plan, but for me it felt like I needed to say it. Oh, really quick, I want to say thanks to everyone for their love and support. Mostly to all the birth parents out there who shared their stories with me. That's what really helped push me to have the courage to confront her. It meant so much, so thanks. Everything happened day before yesterday, by the way. I did wait for her to be done with her shift, and that was when they were closing the restaurant already, and waited in the parking lot. We said hi when she saw me first, but then I told her there was something serious that she needed to know. First told her sorry for keeping it from her this long. She didn't react until I actually pulled out her letter. And she started bawling from there, like screaming and crying at the same time, and didn't even have to finish the whole "I'm your son" speech. She just saw it and knew. It was crazy. Next thing I know, she was hugging me instantly, but then she pulled back and asked if it's okay to hug me. Of course it is, and we're just there hugging and crying in the parking lot. It hit her hard though. Her legs gave out for a second, so I had to actually hold her up while she was still hugging me for a minute. What really got me was her saying to me, "Look how big you got." Also hearing her cry made me cry too. She went back to open the restaurant up. She wouldn't take no for an answer. We had coffee, ate a slice of their pie inside, and talked. So many stuff we talked about. She told me the second time I came to the restaurant she got a feeling, but for her it was hard to believe it was me. So that feeling she had was pushed way down. Because she told me for years after I was adopted she saw kids that would be my age and used to think they were me. Then she would be crying in public. It f***ed with her mind a lot and made her depressed. So she didn't want to do the same when she saw me getting her hopes up like that. She says I look so much like my biological dad when he was younger though. We talked about him too. They stayed in contact with each other in case I ever reached out to one of them, so it would be easier to contact the other. I didn't have hope about finding my biological dad since he was never mentioned, so I'm glad they both planned for this future scenario. She told me about how they wanted to keep me, especially my biological dad. He didn't want me to be adopted, but he knew they had to because they were just kids. It took him a long time to get past it after I was born, she told me. That's why he didn't leave anything, because he didn't want to believe he might not see me again. We talked for hours, till almost 2 in the morning. They closed at 11. She just wanted to know everything about me, but her main thing was, am I happy? Were my parents good to me? Did I have a happy childhood? And I did. I told her thank you for helping to give me this life. We both cried again. She cried the most. Everything was very emotional for her. Sometimes she would look really happy, but then get sad again. After my 18th birthday, she was hoping I would find her, that's why she stayed in the same city. But since I didn't, she always thought maybe I resented her, wasn't told I'm adopted, or maybe had decided it was better not to have her around. It made me feel bad for not telling her sooner. She told me it's not my fault, and I did right going at my own pace. Honestly, she's so sweet. The way she kept looking at me with the biggest smile, it made me emotional sometimes. Makes you think, how can someone who's been a total stranger your whole life look at you with so much love? It's wild. We learned so much about each other. She asked me if we could have dinner soon to keep talking. And if at some point in the future, if I'm interested, come over to her house so I can meet her husband. That all sounded really great. We exchanged numbers. After I left, she sent a text telling me thank you for giving her this gift, and she didn't know if it would ever come. My girlfriend came over and she hugged me while I cried. I wasn't sad until these were happy tears. Everything went better than I expected. There was still emotionally heavy stuff, but I'm still glad that we got to open up to each other. I'm so glad I saved the former post to come back. Such wonderful news. I'm so happy for the both of you. I saw your first post, and this was the update I was really hoping for. So happy it all turned out great for you. This is so beautiful, made me cry, geez. We're all super happy. It's about time something wonderful and meaningful has happened that has been shared with the world. Maybe this is an omen that 2022 will be great. Thanks for sharing with us. Incredibly inspirational. Not everything is hypocrisy and division. There's love. Hope I'm not being a total dweeb. I'm ugly crying, holding my toddler son a bit tighter, so happy for you. Seriously, you gave all of us a gift, to letting us read this and feel this. I am so tremendously happy for you to have made this connection in your life. I hope that this has only multiplied the love in your life from family. I'm sure all of this is heavy and new for both sets of family you now have. All the best to you and this positive outcome. Alright fam, we're wrapping up this hangout, but before you bounce, give that like button a little love and hit subscribe to keep the good vibes rolling. And let's keep the combo going down in the comments. What's your off my chest story? Share the love, share the laughs. Appreciate you all for keeping it real with us. Until next time, stay tuned, stay awesome, and catch you on the next video. Peace and good vibes.